Hiya! Welcome! So I'm sat down today because I want to show you a bunch of unusual records from people like us. Now, most of you will have known about people like us from seeing previous videos of mine, in particular a big People Like Us CD and vinyl haul, which included a few really nice free gifts from the artist Vicky Bennett herself from Bandcamp. This is all stuff that I've accumulated over the past month to 6 weeks on Discogs. Everything's on vinyl here. I have been collecting some more People Like Us on CD, but I'm not going to show those in this video. If people want to see what CDs I've got, and maybe if I can navigate around any copyright issues, play some snippets from them, then let me know in the comments, and I don't mind doing another video about all the People Like Us CDs that I've added to the collection. But I wanted to show these records in particular because the majority of them are quite unusual and pretty fancy. You know me, I love a fancy disc. The reason it's taken me this long to film this video is one of the records that I've ordered hasn't arrived yet. I ordered it pretty much a month ago from China, and it's on its way. But the Chinese post to this country anyway, what it's like internally, I don't know. It can take sort of between 2 and 4 weeks, I think. Probably longer, actually. It's probably something like 2 to 6 weeks. I know it's on its way because I've got the tracking number and everything, but it's just been stuck at, I don't know, either Shanghai airport or an airport over here for quite some time. But I'll show you what I've got so far, and I'll show you that particular record. And it's nothing particularly interesting, actual disc-wise, that one. The most interesting thing about it's probably the sleeve, really, but I'll show you that in just a future vinyl record video. But I'll show you the People Like Us stuff that I have got. This is the thing I'm going to show you first, probably the least interesting record today. This only came today, by the way. Like I said, everything was off Discogs. This only cost me £4, £2 and another £2 in postage. It's a 7-inch single. I believe it plays at 33 revs per minute, which is quite unusual for a 7-inch. But this is People Like Us and Ergo Phizmis, Withers in the Waking, and that's the name of the record, as the tracks are slightly differently named. Track A's In the Waking, Forest Embers mix, and track B, Withers in the Wist, Wandering Embers mix. So, not an awful lot to see. It's a nice cover. It's sort of slightly thicker type card as well, but it's just a standard black 7-inch single. Second hand, it's very slightly stained on this inner sleeve here, but it's only a plain white inner sleeve. I mean, they're easily replaceable if need be. So yeah, nothing much to see there. And I've not listened to this yet either, as this only arrived today. But the rest of the discs are really kind of unusual and kind of, I don't know, underground and illicit in a way. And you'll see what I mean as I get going. Now then, this next thing here. This is probably the most unusual disc of them all. Now, it only came in a plain 10-inch sleeve. Originally, this came in like it was almost like a carrier bag type thing from the record label Stahlplatte, who are based in Berlin, I think. And originally, it was, well, it still is, in fact, a 10-inch single. And it's a picture discog. This is Lassie House. Couldn't tell you exactly what the track titles are called. I think there's sort of like a bunch of numbers and digits, I think, on this. But check that out for a strange disc. Pictures of dogs. Yeah, some weird stuff. It would have been really cool to have this with the original kind of carrier bag sleeve type thing, but I think those were just so flimsy. I don't think hardly any of them ever survived. So to get this, I had to really just get it in a generic 10-inch sleeve here. But I'm still glad I did. I do love a picture disc as well. I'm not saying this is the greatest picture disc ever. It's just a bit bizarre, really, but an interesting addition to the collection. And it's only the third 10-inch single I've got in my collection. Struggling to put this back for some reason. So, a couple of singles there. The rest of the things are albums. Now then, these aren't in any order, by the way, of purchase or release date or anything. It's just how they've sort of piled up while I've been waiting to film this video. Here's the first one, and on the surface of it, it looks pretty boring, but in a way, that's kind of the thing. Now, this is a split album. There are a few People Like Us records that were split between People Like Us, Vicky Bennett, and a similar cut-up artist, and this is split between People Like Us and Sniper, and I couldn't tell you who Sniper is. I'm not even sure it says on Discogs who Sniper is. This is on the Kleptones label, which I believe is a subsidiary of Styleplat, who I mentioned earlier. What I like about the sleeve is just that sort of bootleg quality to it. It's not a bootleg, it's an official release that People Like Us put out. It's just kind of deliberately, I think, made to look like it's some sort of almost not quite legal release here. I like the labels that are on it. File under sleazy listening, file under easy listening. I'm not sure whether People Like Us is meant to be the easy or the sleazy. I want to show you the disc though, because the disc's lovely. Look at that, pure white. This album, Plunderphonic, so kind of a generic title to it. It's difficult for me to really describe any of the, I almost said music then, and some of it isn't even music for all intents and purposes. But it's difficult for me to really describe this stuff other than say I find it entertaining. And I know I'd be in a minority there, as a lot of people would listen to People Like Us or Sniper or some of the other acts, you know, that she's collaborated with or shared an album with, like Ergo Phizmiz, for instance. They'd be like, no, this is just too weird. But I like weird stuff. So we move on to another Kleptones release. This one is People Like Us and Sniper again, and it's called People Like Us and Sniper Play the 3 DJs of the Apocalypse. I'll just get this out. By the way, I like these sort of transparent inner sleeves they've got in these as well. I think they're a really nice touch. But what we've got here is another white disc. Yeah, these albums on Kleptones, as well as the bootleg-esque sleeves, they kept coming out on white vinyl. It's a treat for me anyway. Yeah, I'm getting through these hopefully fairly fast, as once you've seen one, you've seen them all. Although, how many more things have we got after the... Yeah, just one more thing. That's a little bit different, the last thing. So there again, third and final Kleptones illicit style album here. Now, which one is this? I've even got my Discogs People Like Us collection database thing open to help me out, but I'm kind of winging it okay at the moment. This one just has a standard boring paper inner sleeve, but it does have... Ah, yeah, this is Blunder Sonics and another split album, split with People Like Us and The Fuckist Uppist. Yes, The Fuckist Uppist. White vinyl again. No idea who the Fuckist Uppist is. Admittedly, you know, these are the weirdest records I'll probably ever have in my collection. Surreal, really, a lot of it, and some of it's like noisy. But there is a lot to enjoy. There's a lot of humour in this sort of sound collage, plunderphonics type genre. When they want to, a lot of these artists can make a pretty good tune out of old material as well. It's very kind of hit and miss, a lot of this stuff. Like, you'll hear something and it'll sound pretty cool and kind of listenable, and then next thing you know, you've got some real raucous, kind of distorted and glitchy audio mess. Right, the final thing I want to show you, another album. This one obviously looks more like a standard album. This is Jumble Massive by People Like Us. I believe this came out around the same time as the 10-inch Lassie House single that I showed you. As this album and Lassie House both got re-released onto a single CD together. But I had the opportunity to get these both on vinyl record, and I'm glad I got this, as this is, again, a really nice set, actually. It's obviously a lot more fancy than some of those Kleptones releases. I like this, because this high-quality outer protective sleeve is actually part of the record look. It's got the track listing and copyright and everything stuck onto it. And then a design there, and then part of the overall design is this sort of almost tissue paper quality. It's very, very thin. Look, you can see it's starting to rip a little bit, and it's slightly mottled as well. And then inside that is a more standard plain inner white sleeve, and then we've got a clear record. Check that out. Beautiful. Just some really unusual records here. And that's just how they look. I mean, wait till you listen to them. I like to recommend pretty much anything that I show on this channel, but to recommend People Like Us, I think it's a little bit of a funny thing to do because it just really is so niche. I think Leroy Screwballs, off his own bat, I didn't say, oh, please listen to them, you should listen to People Like Us, but I think off his own bat, after the first People Like Us record video that I made, he went off and listened to them, and he came back and he said, "Are you mental or something?" And that's just unlistenable. So fair enough. You can't win them all, Frammers. You stick to your status quo and, I don't know, whatever Abby's got you listening to, the bloody Bee Gees and Michael Bleeding Ball, probably. Right. But there we are. So, yeah, people like us, all my vinyl there. Like I say, I've got some CDs as well, but whether I'll show those on the channel or not, I haven't decided yet. But there'll certainly be more People Like Us records to show. Like I say, there's this one from China that I've been holding this video off for, and I just decided I didn't want to wait any longer. There's a new, although it's really a reissue of an old album, People Like Us record coming out in early June, so you'll be seeing that at some point. And I think there's a few more singles, like a couple more singles that might be able to add to the collection fairly cheap. So should be some more People Like Us records, and hopefully I've shown you pretty much all the interesting ones I've got, but there'll be a couple more kind of unique looking ones to come as well, but we'll have to see. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this look at some real strange and quite exciting records. Just those plain Kleptone sleeves, I can't explain it. It just feels like you've got something that's kind of under the counter. It's underground. I don't know. I'm talking bollocks, I know. Whatever. Special thanks, as always, to my subscribers and my wonderful patrons. Please see the description text box for my Patreon link, where you can help support this channel. I'm going to go now and listen to some more People Like Us. Probably not any of these records. I've already listened to all these, by the way, apart from the first single that I showed you. But I have got some more CDs that came in the post today as well that I need to get around to listening to. So I shall do that now. And I do hope that you all will join me again next time for my next record collecting video. Cheers, everyone. See ya!